action!
Euphoria has got to be one of the most visually stunning shows of the last decade. The lighting, the camera shots, it's all just pure magic. Let's take a look behind the sets at how they made it all happen.
The energy is just like really high and intense.
Number 1. This is a bit of a pun. Demi's friend Bryn Jones helped with the set design. Just in case you don't know who that is, she's the owner of Aralda Vintage, and she brought in a bunch of clothes from her shop.
It was like my dream closet.
The inspiration for the store came from Bryn penny pinching throughout college, and the store became a reality when she'd landed a couple of big modeling gigs, and put the money towards opening a brick and mortar shop.
Walking in and being able to try on all those gowns was definitely a highlight.
We kind of love the self-made story about the business. It seems to fit well with our favorite Euphoria characters. Number 2. Say cheese! When it came to shooting the New Year's Eve party, they wanted to approach the ominous tension of the new year.
The wish or the hope that the new year is going to be different.
They wanted to tell it with snapshots, like fleeting moments of emotions, to look like photos of someone at a party. So they turned off all the lights and used a giant 20K spotlight and just flashed it for a second. Number 3. Imagine having your own personal carnival. It would probably get boring real quick.
You not having fun? No. Yeah, me neither.
Sam wanted a setting that was dreamy but based in reality, like the heightened sense of reality that goes with being a teenager. The carnival became the perfect location for that, but definitely wasn't the easiest to construct. Doing the storyboarding was a huge challenge because they were creating storyboards for a carnival that didn't exist. So coordinating it was incredibly complicated.
They built the carnival like 2 days before we started shooting.
So the team spent a lot of time there trying to figure out the shots and adjust the storyboards to the actual location. The carnival was set up in a way that they could plan their 300-foot track shots, so you'd feel like you're constantly looking through different things and people to create that truly clustered sense of a carnival. And the goal was to make it look like the whole scene was done in one single shot. But it was actually done in about 5 pieces. It took 6 nights to film it, and Zendaya found it so cold and dusty that she needed an inhaler. Number 4. Don't actually let the actors behind the wheel, please.
Yo, what's good?
Start the car and be ready.
Sure thing.
There's an art to crafting compelling car scenes for TV, like creating fun rigs to mimic street lamps and lights, fastening super expensive equipment to the front of real vehicles, or instead maybe laying 600 feet of track along the main road you've got to shut down for a day and tick off the locals. Not to mention spending a bunch of time planning the shots ahead of time. Oh, or maybe just going all the way and having the vehicle be piloted by somebody else entirely. Number 5. The most important factors in Euphoria. Zendaya admits there was a ton of pressure to have Season 2 live up to the hype of Season 1. Despite how popular the look of Season 1 was, Sam Levinson wanted to create something that had the heart and soul of Euphoria, but looked different and felt different. He said if Season 1 felt like a party at 2 a.m., Season 2 should feel like 5 a.m.
Way past the point in which everyone should have gone home.
While Season 1 felt very present, Season 2 feels more like the memory of high school. Last season was blues and purples, and Season 2 is all black and gold. The crew reached out to Kodak to remake Ektachrome for 35mm camera, and Kodak actually converted their factory in order to do it. The Ektachrome's intended to give bright whites, moderately enhanced colors with a neutral balance, low contrast tone scales, and extremely fine grain.
And we treated them totally as period pieces.
Number 6. They're like giant mazes.
I'm going to take you into stage 14 and show you where we film Euphoria.
While the cast is recording in another soundstage, the crew is hard at work building the facades for the next round of shoots. And these sound stages are absolutely huge. So huge, in fact, that they need maps to get around. But we also got a little peek at what we think is a shot from Season 2 of filming. Recognize these places? We never realized it before, but sound stages look like super dangerous places when you've got giant lighting rigs just chilling on the floor. Better watch where you step. Number 7. Do you get motion sick too? Because we sure felt a lot like Rue just from watching. Imagine responding to that casting call where you need to be glued to a roof. Okay, they weren't glued in. They had to be strapped in while the room was spinning and Rue was wall crawling. It's really disorienting, I think, being in there. The crew built a gigantic room that rotated around in a circle. It was built on a gimbal. When Rue walks out of the bathroom, that was built in a way that it could break away so that their camera could follow her in, because of course, it couldn't be strapped to the floor.
What was really cool is shooting the rotating room.
Number 8. It's obviously Los Angeles, but nobody will say it out loud. The filming locations give it away real quick. Fezco and Ashtray's business was shot in Altadena Dairy Store, located in Temple City. We've found tons of photos from the Euphoria gang's time at the store. It's kind of weird how the masks really put a timestamp on filming, huh? They also rented out a bowling alley for a few days. Bolium Lanes. The Travel Inn in North Hills got used once again in season 2. Other filming spots were Favorite Liquor in Burbank, Oddball Cabaret in North Hills, and Frank's Coffee Shop in Burbank as well, which is where Rue met with her sponsor Ali in the Between Seasons Euphoria special. You know what though? We would pick a soundstage over a real location any day. There's no battling with the elements, and all of the lighting is done in studio, meaning you don't have to do the night shift, we think. Number 9. That feel when you control the weather. Did you ever wonder how they make it rain in Hollywood? And we're not talking money. It would be a little goofy to wait for the appropriate weather, so instead they have this fun gadget. And they have to hose down all of the streets. It seems so simple, but it's definitely more complicated than a garden hose. Which, by the way, are more complicated than you think. Number 10. Euphoria just wouldn't be Euphoria without its lights. It's probably one of the strongest storytelling elements the team has at their disposal. Did you know that lighting balloons are a thing? Yeah, they're just giant balloons with lights inside, which actually sounds so much more convenient than needing all the other giant contraptions it can take to hang a light in a space. There's no harsh edges to these lights either, and Euphoria gets good use out of them.
Material was like coming in and we look at it just like going like, wow, this shot is phenomenal.
We wonder how well they work on a windy day though, and how long they take to deflate. And that isn't even close to the only cool lighting Euphoria makes use of. There's also a couple of cool rainbow ones, and these big ol' red ones. Or this one. Can you attach them to the scenes they're used in? Number 11. Are there schools out there that actually have budgets big enough to sustain big dances like this? Ulysses S. Grant High School stood in for the exterior shots of East Highland High School, which is also the school where Saved by the Bell was filmed. But most of the interior shots were actually done on a soundstage.
Welcome to our school dance!
And the school dances were mind-blowingly complicated. Did you see all of the colorful lights in the hallway before we even got to the dance part? And there were 3,000 stars strung up above the dance floor, not to mention an entire balloon hall. We wonder whose job it was to blow all those balloons up. Number 12, we're just gonna take a quick peek. We also get this awesome behind-the-scenes shot of the strip club when it's still being built. And all we can say is tripping hazards. Tripping hazards everywhere. Number 13, these need to make a proper comeback. This was an intense moment, wasn't it? To say somebody's sobriety relies on you is one heavy burden.
It seems really good. It's because of you, you know.
Euphoria isn't the only show to use this rollerway. Glee famously used the same space in one of their April Rhodes episodes. Number 14, how do you top a carnival? Marching bands, apparently.
I want to do a musical number, and it'll be beautiful, and it'll be heartbreaking.
200 people were playing instruments and dancing and singing in the streets of an average suburb on the outskirts of LA, which really created an interesting dichotomy for Rue's experience. The track that they played, Labyrinth, was really the anthem Sam had playing in his head from the beginning. Zendaya was thrilled by the prospect of singing the song. However, she wanted to do it her own way.
She was like, I'm not gonna do that, but I'm gonna do my version.
Euphoria is definitely a go big or go home kind of show. Number 15. It's more complicated than you'd think. We don't always think about how shots like these are handled, do we? Those over-the-head shots obviously take more work than somebody with a camera in their hands, and we never think twice about it. It's a whole thing to attach it to a gurney and then balance it back out. Number 16. Euphoria spares no expenses when it comes to the coolest shots in TV.
Getting dressed, I want to go swimming.
And here they go with the underwater cameras. Some shows you watch to be entertained. Others you watch because they're a work of art. Euphoria is both, of course. More than the sets, it is truly the lighting that gives Euphoria that euphoric feel, and the camera that puts us in that nostalgic mood. What do you think was the most visually stunning scene in Euphoria? Let us know in the comments, and thanks for watching.